Well, welcome to another airgun adventure. That noise in the background, somebody cutting down a tree, I think. That's a chainsaw that you hear. Michigan's getting a little bit of snow flurries today. I don't know how good your computer or TV or cell phone is, but if it's got enough pixels, I think you'll see some snow falling. We're going to be doing a review today on a gun that has three origins. This says Browning, but it's distributed by Umarex, and somewhere in here you'll see Umarex, but on this flip side you're going to see Turkey. So I think Hatsan made it for Umarex, who somehow sold Browning to put their logo on it too. But that's good. That means three managements reviewed this gun. Secondly, this is a gun that's not even available anymore. This is a 22 caliber. It's still sold after, I think it came out in 2008 maybe. But today, brand new, they're only available in the 17 caliber. And I believe it was made from a Umarex Springer nitro piston, or not nitro, but Springer and brake barrel. This is not a suppressor, this is just a cocking lever. If you've heard me talk about a harmonic balancer, you know that you don't want anything touching this at all, even a finger, laser, flashlight, unless you sight it in and then shoot it with those accessories on it, because everything that touches the gun, any gun, affects its grouping. Now, I want to share some facts about this gun with you, but take a look down there and you're going to see what we're going to be shooting at. A 10-yard target and a 15-yard target. Well, when we compare and do a review on this air gun, keep in mind that what I do is I go through a list of deal breakers that would prevent me or cause me to purchase this gun. This particular report has 75 potential deal breakers in it. And I'm just going to cover the big ones with you here in this video. But you're going to want to, if you get one of these, you'll want to get a full review of it using our deal breaker sheet, which we give away free as long as you're buying some of our stickers or the hat or the shirt, if you will. Show your support and buy some of these things, confirming that you're all about being safe and sharp and silent. Well, let's talk about some good things about this. First of all, it's a Browning 800, but it doesn't live up to any 800 feet per second. Perhaps with the platinum lightweight pellets, maybe it does. But with lead pellets, no. In fact, the 17 caliber shoots at about 600 to 700 feet per second. This is a 22, it shoots between 500 and 600. One of the things you want to really get to, and we always head for that velocity, but the real number is foot-pounds of energy. And that 17 caliber delivers about 7, and the 22 delivers about 8. Now I got to tell you, foot-pounds of energy is what it's all about. That's that knockout punch, whether it's hitting your target or you're hunting and there's a critter out there. I'm old enough to remember sitting in the living room with my dad. We loved boxing. Oh my goodness, the thrill in Manila when I was a small kid. And we watched every fight. And I have to tell you, we were watching for this hit right here that cast a complete halo around the boxer's face of mist. And when we saw that halo, we knew he was done for. He was going to be losing in that round or within 30 seconds afterward. That's a real knockout punch. By the way, I got in some fights as a kid. I'm not proud of it. I lost about as many as I won. But they called it a glass jaw. And when you hit here, this jaw is got a muscle that straps over the top of the brain. And when you hit here, it's pulling that muscle down, and it robs the brain of blood for a nanosecond. And that's what knocks a person out. In just one of my fights, I was somehow hitting this fellow right on the chin, and he went down every time. And after about 4 or 5 times, I said, "Stay down." When we're hunting, we want a knockdown punch. We don't get to see that missed, and we don't have a jaw to aim for in our box. But what we do want is to hit the head or the heart, this chest, this right shoulder. That's when we do the most damage, not back here in the body. That animal probably is dead, but it'll crawl off someplace and die, and you won't harvest it for any meal that I know about. So we want energy, and very few air guns are offered in 22 caliber. This one is. Not new ones. They've gone only 17 caliber. Again, it comes out with a Browning label. As I said, outside, it's made, distributed by Umarex, and it's made, I think, by Hatsan. It's got all the markings. This is just like a Hatsan Springer up here. So I'm pretty sure, in addition to being made in Turkey, which makes a lot of gun parts and a lot of guns, for Americans too, they just don't offer it in that 22 anymore. The only way you're going to get a 22 is if you have buy one off of eBay or used one or something from somebody. Now, I am fixing this gun just for a neighbor crossing. It's not my gun. Larry brought it over. He said, "Can you get this thing sighted in for me?" And just as you can see some green rear sights here with those little pieces of plastic right there. But there was one up here, and it was missing. And it might explain why he was having a little difficulty. I took some of Dr. Paula's white nail polish and just painted that tip, and now you get that real nice picture of this rear sight and the front sight nestling right in at the same elevation. Nonetheless, my neighbor had a BSA red dot, and you can make it red or green, you can make it bright or small. And I like pistols with red dots because when that animal's moving, and often they do with a pistol shot, you're able to get right back on it. More so than trying to find it, let's say in a scope like this one here. So this isn't my gun, I'm fixing it for a friend. Now, it's good, and it's also a very few of these handguns don't work on CO2 cartridges, so there is no CO2 in this handle. That's good. They can get kind of expensive after a while. This is a brake barrel. This is what pumps up the air into a piston that has a spring in it, and that's how we get the name Springer. That reminds me of one of the issues of shooting this gun correctly. Any kind of brake barrel, and especially the Springers, you want to hold them in an artillery position. That means you hold them loose, and this gun can come back and forward, and it needs to do that for consistent grouping. Well, you better hold this one loose. And that goes against everything. I placed 5th here in a Michigan powder gun pistol contest. I used to shoot competitively for powder guns. And we held our pistols tight. The firmer we had it, the better off they were. That's not true with this gun. Not only do you hold it loose, but watch what happens here. Watch this slide against the barrel. Or, I think it's easier to see it here. Look at the trigger. What is that all about? Well, this is, I think, the only handgun, there's probably some others, but the only handgun I know that has a built-in spring that helps with this motion. That's good. Because without it, I mean, this thing kicks pretty good anyway. Something I don't like is this safety. Every time you cock it, like I just did, it throws this safety on and the gun can't fire. And then you have to do this. And about half the time I forget to do this, and I've got to stop, start all over again. Another thing, this is a negative thing that you need to be aware of, is that as we believe safety is first, if you'll look here at this side of the gun, this particular Browning 800 had a safety issue, and they did a recall. They didn't get all the guns, and they didn't get this one either. Though this gun's only 3 or 4 years old, so it may have been after the recall. But when you call them and get the serial number, they'll tell you if the gun has to be returned. But the gun would shoot with the safety on. And that's a big no-no. And when you return the guns to the factory for a free upgrade, they returned and they came back right there, and for whatever reason, they stamped the letter P, as in Paul, right there. Well, as you can see, this gun doesn't have it. So it was made either after the discovery, or it was it was made before the discovery, and it has not been upgraded. So far in shooting, I have discovered that it cannot shoot with this safety on. It does shoot with the safety off. What else can I tell you? I measured the decibels. It's about, remember now, this is not a suppressor. This is strictly a handle that helps you with the cocking. It's not a suppressor. It should be taken off for all the shots. As I said outside, anything that touches this gun can affect that grouping. You'll learn that if you get a gun with a harmonic balancer. It's a dial that's here on the end and rotates forward and back. Looks like the safe, a dial on a safe. And when you get it to the right spot, it doesn't matter what accessories you have on it, boy, that grouping gets tight. Now, I'm gonna go outside and I'm gonna shoot at 10 yards, about 30 feet, and I'm gonna shoot at 15. Keep in mind that all guns, that group gets worse as you go out further. This is a handgun. This violates my desire here of a barrel that's 20 inches long. The spread on my finger is about 9.5. So this is about a 9.5 inch barrel. And we're not going to get the accuracy of a regular Springer rifle, unfortunately. But for those close-up targets, some competition certainly is always at 10 meters on 17 caliber. You'll want to know exactly what your range is, because if you shoot anything farther out and you hit it, you're probably not being humanely responsible as you shoot a critter farther than that with the pistol. What else am I saying? Here's one for you. It's a big gun, and yet it's a pistol. We like pistols because they're small, we can conceal them, they go in a pocket. Not this gun. The second thing is it's heavy. Oh, and I'm telling you, this is heavy. I think it's around 4 pounds. So that's a lot of weight for a pistol when you get rifles at 6, 7, and 8 pounds. It's 13 years old, and they have not upgraded it. In fact, all they've really done is cut out the 22 caliber production, still making it in 17. So I'd like to see this come out with a real nice upgrade. Maybe with a kind of a nitro piston, a hydraulic piston in it, and not a Springer piston. The composite stock here and handle, they're good. They're good and strong. It's about as strong a composite I've ever seen. So Browning people, I think, were probably responsible for that. Well, we're going to go outside and we're going to shoot some 22s out of this at the 10 and at the 15 yard, and we'll see how they do. One of the reasons you want to break a gun in, get that cosmoline out of that barrel, that's that thick grease that all manufacturers put on their weapons. But you want a pellet that's literally the best for that gun, and so you have to try several. I'd like to tell you that it's brand A, and it's not. A brand that we like to start off with here is JSB. As you can see, it's a match round, and it's made of, if I can get this lid off here, made of soft lead. And one of the good things about being made out of a soft lead is that behind this skirt here, see, there's the waistline right down in there, and then you have this skirt. That skirt has the air behind it, and that skirt opens up and seals itself to the inside rifling. This gun has rifling in it, and that gives a good seal, but it's still got to be the right size. Just because it says 22 out here doesn't mean that it's .22. It might be .222 or .221, and that's why maybe these Winchester. Now, you can see here, my first thought when I look at those is that they're a harder lead and they're not lubricated. And then lastly here are these Polymag Predators. And that's as close in an air pellet that you can get to what we call in powder guns a nozzler partition. So it takes that hollow head design, puts a little piece of plastic tip on it, and that really causes it to open up once it hits a target. So we need to put some nice groupings in those targets. And we cock it, and I'll start off with these JSBs. This seal looks okay. No damage there, so that's good. I think I told you I had to brighten that up with some nail polish. And now I can turn on this red dot, or it can be a green dot. And I'll be shooting at those targets down there. I'm going to hold this gun as light as I can so that I am doing the artillery position. I don't know if you can see it, but it looks like it's at 7 o'clock at the 15-yard target. Okay, let's see what happened after I shot this handgun. Let me tell you that it's kind of nice shooting a powerful pistol. Oh, it's cold out there. Okay, here across this top are the 3 rounds, and over here on the left was this jumbo, a real nice group. By the way, let's just stop there for 1 second, and I want to show you this. Over here is 15 yards, and you can see that the same JSB opened up a bit, considerably open compared to the 10. So anticipate that in your shooting. Now, I was thinking that probably the JSB would blow the others away. If we use my measuring device here, we wouldn't see a great difference here. This is a nice compact. It is to the left. So I'm going to tell my neighbor that if he's going to continue to use these JSBs, he wants to know that he's going to shoot about 1 inch left. without making any adjustments on that red dot. Now the Winchester, even though they were dry and whatever, they performed really a very nice group. And the one that would have probably not come out well with the rifle were these polymags, and I think that's a nice group. I got one out here, which probably makes it the widest group. But why? Well, remember, these pellets that aren't made so much of lead are often, when I see on a rifle, they can get out there about 40 yards and then they just start whirling. So I'm not big on those in a rifle. But here, in a pistol, which is only shooting 600-700 feet, I think polymags and others, you can probably shoot anything you want. And it's still going to hold because it's under 1,050 feet per second, which is the speed of sound. It's still backyard friendly, and it's still tight. So this gives you an idea of the three ammunitions, and that they are, in this case, radically different. And that's why it's important that you try several pellets when you sight in your gun. You want to probably make the grouping one of the deal breakers. And all you have to do is order some stickers, some vinyl stickers of ours, and you're going to get that 75 deal breakers report. Oh yeah, I've got one more report for you. Correction. My wife, Dr. Paula, has one more report for you. Well, Dr. Paula, I think everybody who watches our videos knows that we have two passions. One is air guns, and the second one is...
my babies.
Your babies.
I have 10 babies right here. And if you'll notice, we're at the stage, Mom takes care of them for about 3.5, maybe 4 weeks. That's kind of pushing it. And what she does is she cleans everything up. But I have a safety rail here, and if you'll see, it's about 4 inches off the ground, 4 or 5 inches. And that's where the puppies, when they're really tiny, they crawl up under there when Mom is laying down, because Mom doesn't lay in the middle of the pen. She always lays up against a wall. Most of the time it's right out here because this hole is open here, this doorway, and she wants to protect them. Now that they're a little bit bigger, they try to get up under there, but it's very difficult. But if you'll see right now...
Why do they all have a different color Velcro collar?
That's so that I can take their weights, so that I can take their temperatures, and I can watch and make sure they're all growing like they're supposed to. But if you see right now, I have changed this from just a pad to some beds, a blanket. I have puppy pads down here. That teaches them to pee and poop away from where they sleep. But my next step is opening this up during the day and night and letting them come out here in this open area on the newspaper. And it teaches them that they learn, they go someplace different when it's time to go to the bathroom. And that way they don't sleep, they don't pee and poop where they sleep. Now I want to show you what happens when I open this up. I just cleaned it all up, and I've got toys, they play here, they'll eat here, and then I cleaned it all up and it becomes a play area.
And they pee and poop here?
Yes, they pee and poop here, and they're doing a really good job, because when I get them up in the morning, only thing that's in the bed area is a little bit of pee on those pads. All the poop is out here. It is not inside.
So that when they're adopted, which is what, about 10 days from now, they'll be almost house trained.
They will be. I have transitioned them from total nursing to some mush that they just attack and devour. And then I start adding a little bit of the dry food in on it so that they get used to chewing it. And then they have their water, which I know it's off the ground, but that helps them so that they don't pee in it or poop in it. Are you ready to see the stampede of puppies?
Yeah, now for 2 weeks, their eyes are closed, their ears are closed, because God just wants their noses to work. But that was weeks ago. Now they're got their eyes open. They see what the world is like around them, and they seem to be totally focused on you.
I see a couple of you got your food on your head. Are you ready? Hold on, don't fall. Hold on. There we go. All right, come on out, guys.
They're ready to go.
Come on.
They're ready to go.
Come on. Good. Come on, buddy. Come on. See, I'm not sure I want
It's a little
to.
slow, but he comes. Now, some people don't want that tail cut, so it's left long, and others do.
I have two of them that someone is getting, and they wanted the tails left long. But other than that, we have them docked. And see, we've learned to drink water over here.
That's part of the weaning process.
It is.
And you've got both blacks, and some people would call them browns, but in the industry here, we call them reds.
Yes, I have 3 reds and 7 blacks. And Abby was bred with a black, so the dominant is the black. We do have a few kids that are autistic that have one of our dogs as a service dog. We've had someone that was in the service take one to Afghanistan. Dr. Russ has one. The mother of these puppies is Dr. Russ's service dog. It helps notify him when his sugar is too high or too low. But anyway, that's my babies.
And you do this how many times a year?
A couple times a year, at least.
Many become service dogs, some do not.
Nope, I breed for people that want family dogs, that love the breed and just want them as a pet.
So you go to shows, but you don't enter shows.
No, I don't. I just get ideas from people.
Now, somebody called you once and they wanted several dogs as guard dogs for their businesses. What did you tell them?
Well, I told them I'm sorry, but I don't raise dogs, Dobermans, to be guard dogs. These are family dogs, and I know that there are some dogs that are good for guard dogs, but I don't think that my puppies fit that category.
So they've got to do a kind of a phone interview with you first.
Yes, they do. Well, if you've enjoyed this video, Dr. Russ's portion and the puppies, give us a thumbs up, especially since I'm in it this week. That way we'll go way above the numbers that he has. And if you'd like to leave a comment, please feel free to. Dr. Russ answers them all. And until next time, as Dr. Russ says, stay safe, stay sharp, and stay silent.